That particular thing made me aware about the operations or the nitty-gritty of every operations, that how things are getting done in the system. So that gave me confidence, and furthermore, I was few of fortunates where I got opportunity to interact with the top brass of the Doordarshan.
So,
Yeah.
sir, my first question to you is rather like, sir, you have more than 2 decades of experience in leading across IT and other businesses operation domains at some of the largest establishments in our country, like Doordarshan, CBI, Paras Healthcare, and more. So, I want to ask you that with such exposure and learnings, what are the key things that still keeps you up at night, and how has the role changed over the time since when you started?
Yeah, so I would start in a reverse order when you said that how it got evolved, the role got evolved. Being in IT since beginning, when I joined Doordarshan, there also I was driving the IT in Doordarshan, and I joined Doordarshan in 1987 way back, and we created the network across India and created lot many applications. Those days, IT used to be like people were not accepting IT, and that was a very niche area to do it. Those days, we developed the applications which are still running in Doordarshan. Like we used to run the many projects in Doordarshan. Those days, if you recall, every day one low power transmitter used to get installed in India. So we had thousands of projects up running across India. So we used to monitor those projects and their expenditure, their progress reports. So we developed an application which monitored the every expenses with respect to every project, payroll, HR related applications, many applications which brought down number of resources and improved the efficiency in Doordarshan. So that particular thing made me aware about the operations or the nitty-gritty of every operations, that how things are getting done in the system. So that gave me confidence, and furthermore, I was few of fortunates where I got opportunity to interact with the top brass of the Doordarshan, engineer in chief and chief engineers. So that groomed my personality to work with the seniors in the organization and interact, understand their thought process, visibility. So that made me a more mature person at a very young age. Because I joined Doordarshan at the age of 21.
Yes.
So, then I moved into CBI. CBI also, fortunately, I was given the responsibility of the complete systems division to computerize CBI's functioning and work with the cybercrime division as well. So I was responsible for computerization of the CBI. We made first organization in India to 100%ly computerize all the FIRs in CBI across all 70 branches. So that was also a very big project. We implemented a very big data center that time, and it was a 7-layer data center which we created in NIC, which was very secure data center. We established a connectivity between CBI India and Interpol. CBI is a nodal office of Interpol in India. So we created the very secure network between India and Interpol Lyon, France. There also in CBI, being in CBI, I visited many countries to implement many cyber crime related projects, many computer related activities which we used to do. We brought up lot many technologies from foreign countries and implemented it in India. And not only that, we implemented the first cyber forensic lab in CBI in New Delhi at CBI headquarters, which had got all the disk forensics, etc. So that was in 2002. So with that, what happened in all conventional crimes, the cyber input increased, because in every cyber any crime, be it mobile used to be very few those days into the crimes, but we cracked many cases using the mobiles also those days. But mobile tracing, mobile tracking, and disk forensics helped many cases got through. There are many cases, I don't like to name it here, but we cracked using the disk forensics, because we could know that how the messages are getting exchanged. Not only the messages are getting exchanged, there were technologies, and the criminals were using the latest technology, like steganography. If in the older times, people used to crypt their messages into the drawing and paintings,
Yes.
right? And there used to be technology to decrypt those messages, to read out of those paintings or other things. Similarly, the steganography is the technology where your text messages get imposed on a one particular photograph. So you take one Bollywood heroine photograph and merge the text on the photograph and send that photograph into the attachment. So if somebody hacks that thing, or somebody gets access to that particular mail, will not be able to see the text message. They'll be able to see the video or the photograph of the so-called heroine.
Oh.
Right? So you will not suspect, you will not see that there is some message or suspected message. But if you pass it through the steganography and you do the de-steganograph that particular photograph, you will be able to see the text message. So we saw that type of thing happening from the southern eastern countries. These type of messages were coming with the attached photograph. When we de-steganographed, we could see that message was written that on this much money needs to be deposited in this particular account of this particular person. So the hawala cases, etc., you could resolve
Yes.
through this. So similarly, lot many leads we could crack into the cases using the cyber forensics. And we developed a network monitoring tool system. We implemented one disk forensics system into the CBI, wherein the criminals or the so-called accused, they used to delete all the data out of the disk.
Oh.
So what is the best possible way of deleting the data out of the disk is you format the disk.
Yes.
So once you format the disk, you assume it is your assumption that the now data cannot be recovered. But there were tools available that time. I'm talking about 2002, and during those times, if you format the disk 7 times consecutively, still your data can be recovered out of the disk.
Yes.
Right? So those technologies we developed in India, so that these type of data, if somebody does mischiefs, we can recover it. So that made me more technocrat, and my perspective got changed when I was working with the senior management and implemented the things, driving the conferences with the Interpol, and managing all the I would say the policies of the CBI organization, monitoring all the performance of all the officers. So that gave me a different edge and made me a different person while monitoring performance of a senior officers, DIGs, SPs in the respective branch, with the target driven, that these many cases has to be registered, these many cases has to be prosecuted. There is another chunk which you guys might not be aware. There is another layer between the investigation and the prosecution. Another layer is called sanction of prosecution. So that is one layer wherein once you create a charge, once you FIR lodge a FIR for an accused, before a charge sheeting into the court, you need to have a permission from the government, because CBI generally covers the government officials cases. So you need to have a permission from the respective departments and their officers, their seniors and their ministries. So until unless you have, you cannot move into the court. So those cases, because of the computerization, came down drastically, and the CBI's performance went up. And we were able to monitor our performance. And we were proud to say that time, CBI's conviction rate that time used to be more than 70%. It was close to 80%, that which was the highest in the world, the conviction rate. That is why in India, everybody, if you have anything, people do ask about the CBI investigation cases. So there, I managed all the computerization and these type of cyber input. From there, I moved into the corporate, and I joined Quest Diagnostics as a director IT. And again, my journey started into the healthcare in 2008, and thereafter I've been into the healthcare only, and I became a healthcare guy thereafter. So in Quest Diagnostics was the US MNC, and they are the global leader into the diagnostics. And I visited the US many times due to some operational cases and other management training, etc. I learned lot many standard, and I learned lot many standard practices being followed into the MNC out there. Just a few examples to give, like if finance, the SOX compliance, in data center management, the SES 70, ITIL implementation. If you see in the operations, Six Sigma best practices. So all
Yes.
those things in different projects, waterfall way of managing the things. So all those things, all best global practices I learned being into the Quest Diagnostics. And when, as I told you earlier also, how I, being in IT, when you learn the process and nitty gritty, everything, because, until unless you learn every bit of the operation, you cannot make a processes in the IT.
True.
So so if you are in depth into the IT, you have to know every operation. So once you know it, you know better than the people, those who are doing at the ground level.
Yes.
So consequently, I was conferred the other responsibilities, the HR responsibilities, the operational responsibilities, and slowly, I grew up to the level where, I was working like a chief operating officer of the Quest Diagnostics and managing all the operations, be it purchase, stores, business, commercial excellence, stores, field operations, lab operations, everything. I was managing IT, HR, everything I was managing into Quest Diagnostics. So there was a time where, I felt that, now I have done enough, and then I took a call and I moved into the Paras hospitals. Paras Hospital gave me the responsibility of running the hospital as a hospital head, as a like, they call facility director. It was like a chief executive officer, CEO of the hospital, and I ran the hospital. And there also I learned how to run the hospital. And we increase the revenue every day. I learned how to increase the revenue, how to improve the medical facility, how to improve the inflow of the patients out there, how to use the technology to improve the operations. So all those things I learned because, being a IT guy, if you are running the operation, you understand more how it can be implemented and how it can be modernized once you know the operations. And when you are running the organization, you are responsible for the P&L. You understand the importance of investment also. You are not investing blindly. So whenever you are investing anything or proposing anything or envisaging any technology, you understand that, how it will impact the revenue and improve the efficiency in the operations. Thereafter, I selected in HCG Oncology Hospital chain in Bangalore. So I spent about 3.5 years there in Bangalore with HCG Oncology Hospitals as a president and group CIO. So there I had three responsibilities with the HCG. HCG has got a 28 hospital across India and abroad, where, I was managing all the 28 hospitals as a group CIO. I was managing the PNL of the North hospitals of HCG, wherein, I got developed one hospital, 350 bedded hospital in Jaipur. One hospital was under construction, still it is under construction in Delhi. And there was another hospital in Ghaziabad and some in Kanpur. So this is how I was managing the P&L of the hospitals in the north, and I was president for the all laboratories across India in the hospital. So 28 laboratories we had across hospital. Later on, we purchased a company called Strand Life Sciences, which is a genomics company, and I led that company as a president of the genomics company. And then, that company got sold out to now to Reliance, and I moved into the IQVIA during just before the pandemic. And I then got an opportunity to work with the National Health Authority and drive the National Digital Health Mission, which recently Prime Minister inaugurated. So we conceived and we designed the the National Digital Mission, which has been inaugurated by the Prime Minister now across India, which is we studied the global best practices, and we implemented and designed the whole project in line with the Indian requirements, keeping in mind the global standards. We kept in mind the ICD 11, ICD 10, 11, SNOMED CT, LOINC, HL7, Fire 4, and distributed network across India in the open architecture. So that project is over, and then I accepted this current assignment as a CIO of Gangaram Hospital. Again, here we are implementing the Oracle ERP and integrating it with the TrackCare HIS. So a lot of challenges are here. I've just joined here a month back, so I'm getting into right. That is what is my journey. And now, so that this was the answer of your question, that how my role got evolved. I have explained you. And the answer of your first question is, what is making me up in the night and keeping me energetic all the time is, when you are doing your job passionately, your mind keep on looking for the new things and find the better way to do the things. So once your mind is active and always it is active to find new things, you become awake. You need not to get motivated, so you get yourself motivated to get the things done. I'm getting the things done here in 1 month's time. I got many things done, so that keep me awake, that yes, there is a success. Then I keep on choosing myself the targets for the next month or next quarter, next year, so that you keep on running towards the target and following up the things. So need not to get yourself provoked by anybody else.